Hello Virgo, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is your weekly tarot forecast. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. That way you won't miss any of the weekly tarot readings that we do for your sign. So let's just get right into the reading and see what the message is that comes through for you this week. All right, what is it that you need to know? What is your situation? What is going on? First card today is the Hanged Man. All right, so let's put that into some context with the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread. And that is going to include this mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to leave that right here. We're not going to look at that until the very end, so stick around. And we're just going to see if that might tie the reading together or, you know, give us that confirmation that we're looking for at the very end of the video, okay? So right away I see a lot of major arcana cards. I think this is really an important time in your life. I think there are a lot of things shifting, right? I feel like you're kind of maybe transitioning from one form of energy to another, right? I feel like maybe you're coming into a new phase of your life, a new path for you. And the first card that we had was this Hanged Man, right? So I think in your life right now, there are some things that you're going to have to kind of give up. There are some things in your life, people, habits, interests, hobbies, situations, relationships, whatever it is, that you're going to have to reevaluate. And you're going to have to try to see your life from a different point of view, like this Hanged Man, or a more objective point of view, and see what really needs to go. It's kind of a clearing out the old stuff, clearing out that old energy that may not be serving your purpose any longer, right? And with all of this major arcana here, I feel like you're really receiving an influx of some really great spiritual energy this week, right? Just some really strong forces that are kind of beyond your control, beyond your, perhaps your understanding, your comprehension even. These forces just are from the mysterious universe, right? They're just from the beyond, kind of. And I think that you're feeling this shift of energy. And it's really going to lead you down this road of kind of self-assessment, kind of taking stock of your life, taking stock of the things that you thought you held in high esteem, that you thought had value to you, and about letting go of some of these things that aren't serving your purpose anymore, right? So the Hanged Man is all about changing perspectives, sacrificing the things that don't serve your purpose, right? And in some ways, it's going to be involving this younger water sign person. Now, if you don't know this person's astrological sign, or if you're not into that really, this is going to be a person who has still, as yet, some immature emotions about them. The way they communicate, the way they feel things, or the way they deal with their emotions is still in a kind of young and immature stage, right? So it's like when they feel something strongly, they're not really sure how to express it or how to act, right? Or how to communicate those emotions. And so they may act out in ways that you would kind of see as inappropriate, right? And that's just because they're not sure how to deal with these emotions that they have. Now, I'm not sure yet how this person plays into your shifting energy this week, okay? But I see that there is this person in your life that is very very important, and they're going to be a major factor here, but I'm not sure in what relationship they are to you yet. Okay, but I feel like it's a younger, probably a feminine type energy, and I think it's going to be either that water sign person, or they're going to have those immature, the immature emotional intelligence kind of, or the emotional expression. Okay, but we'll take a look at some more cards and see if we can maybe discern where that person fits into all of this, right? Nice message from my candle here this morning. So the next card in the recent past is the High Priestess, and I think that in the recent past, there was some kind of almost like an epiphany that you had, like this kind of a sudden realization that you made. And I don't know really what this is regarding, but I feel like recently you just had this kind of aha moment, or you saw such a blatant and obvious like synchronicity that there was just no denying it. You were just like, wow, oh my God, you know, I can't believe this is true, or this is real, or this is the energy that I'm perceiving right now. Right? I feel like it was kind of sudden. It wasn't something that you were out looking for. It was rather spontaneous. But it was just this influx of energy that you felt, and it gave you that sudden realization, that aha moment, that maybe you're starting to realize that this energy is coming in now. You're feeling this influx of this spiritual energy. And from the looks of things, this week, it is really going to allow you to reevaluate your position, reevaluate the things that you once thought were important to you. Okay? And again, that could be relationships, people, it could be objects, it could be habits, it could be any kind of routines or relationships, you know, with groups of people, or with, you know, with individuals, anything at all that occupies a place in your mind or in your heart needs to be evaluated. And you need to use that hanged man energy. But I think all of that started with this just kind of sudden realization. Maybe you were doing a divination, a tarot reading or something for yourself, and you just saw some kind of synchronicity or some kind of sign that was like a light bulb. And you just, wow, now I see, now I understand. This is an undeniable omen, synchronicity, a sign. And that kind of started this whole process for you this week, right? And that's the energy that that's expanding in your life right now. And I do see some signs like this Eight of Wands that this did come on rather quickly. That this aha moment, and again, we have the confirmation from the candle flame. So I think that, yeah, this happened rather quickly. It was kind of a sudden flash of insight that you got with this High Priestess card. And now we're seeing that this is like, it was kind of like a lightning bolt. It was kind of like that light bulb, that flash, that epiphany, that aha moment. And I think that it is, you know, something that kind of illumined a rather dark corner of your life, something that you weren't either aware of, or a mystery you were trying to penetrate, or just some understanding that you were trying to gain, or a door that you were trying to unlock. And then there was this flash, and this High Priestess energy came in, gave you that aha moment. And again, with this Eight of Wands, I feel like it happened rather quickly, that you weren't really expecting it, right? And maybe this locked door or this dark corner has been there for a while, and it was just kind of part of you, this impenetrable mystery that you had. I think it came on suddenly that the answer appeared to you, right? In that omen, that synchronicity. Again, if you were doing a tarot reading or a tea leaf reading or geomancy or whatever, you know, maybe just you were washing dishes and it came to you in a flash. And it solved that mystery for you. Or it gave you the beginning of this influx of spiritual energy that, again, now is going to be allowing you to change your point of view, look at things from different angles, and to reevaluate everything in your life, right? To take another look at the values that you've placed on everything in your life. You know what I mean? And again, I think that happened rather quickly. I think it was something that came on suddenly, and now the energy's really rushing in. It's really coming in fast. And it all began again with that High Priestess. It's like once that dam was broken, once that tap was turned on, it's a rush of that spiritual energy now. Okay. And I think the important thing for you going into the future is going to be this Emperor energy. And I think this is really about having the self-awareness, the self-control, the discipline, the maturity to deal with this influx of spiritual energy. Okay? If you just open that tap wide open, it's going to rush out of you. It could cause a lot of disruption in your life, right? So it's something that you want to maintain control over. You can't just completely abandon yourself to it, right? Because then it's going to be out of control. It's going to just be kind of, you're just going to be pulled along by that current rather than in any way participating in it. You know, you're just going to be kind of at its whim. So a little bit of that, I think, is important, but not complete loss of control. You want to maintain your authority, discipline, maturity, right? You want to maintain your self-awareness and be conscious of yourself and what's happening. So the Emperor energy, I think, here is really important, especially when we're talking about this kind of fiery energy, this spiritual force that's coming in so quickly that it would be very easy to get swept away by it, right? But that Emperor stays in control of this fiery energy, okay? And I think that's an important kind of, you know, safety valve that you need to have. And when the pressure becomes too great, then it is up to you to take the action necessary to let it flow, but not just wild and out of control. There has to be some order kind of maintained here. And the next major arcana card that we see is one of my favorites because it rules Cancer. I'm a Cancer. But it is this Chariot card. And I think for you, this is really, you know, talking about your kind of the undercurrent of your life. And I think it's one of like a spiritual fortitude and preparedness. I think that you've been doing, you know, you've been doing the good work for a long time. I think that you have always worked very hard to fortify yourself, right? I think that you are someone who likes to be prepared in a practical way, right? For any kind of, unexpected circumstances of life, right? You're just a very kind of practical person, very prepared. I mean, Virgo after all, right? They're very practical. Some of them, depends on the other placements, of course. But there's this practicality, this pragmatism, this preparedness that I get with the Chariot. And it's this sense that you are almost over-prepared, where you're kind of always sitting with your foot on the gas, ready to just zoom and take off, right? It's kind of this over-preparedness thing where it's like you're expecting really the worst thing to happen. And, you know, sometimes that's good. You gotta, what is this? You gotta hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Okay, that makes sense. But to the point that it's causing you some anxiety or some kind of upset or turmoil, or it's disrupting your day-to-day flow a little bit, right? But that's kind of a side issue. I think that's just a little residual kind of effect of this preparedness. I think it's a spiritual fortitude. I think that you are someone who's very conscious of your spiritual journey, right? And I feel like with this Chariot card, especially with the charioteer being that kind of, you know, that knight in the shining armor, I think that you are very much aware of your own spiritual quest, right? And it's kind of that quest for the Grail, right? It's, you know, we keep trying to reach the Grail castle and to experience the Grail, but there's just so many kind of side quests, right? There are so many other things that distract us that we have to do. And really that Grail quest is not so much about finding the Grail, right? Reaching the finish line, achieving that accomplishment, but it's how do we conduct ourselves on that journey, right? What kind of integrity do we have? What kind of spiritual fortitude are you all about? And I think that's a big focus for you. I think you're one that's very much in tune with that. And I think that's a large factor. Like I say, everything on the path of the dove here today is really saying that you're very much aware of this energy that's going on. And it began recently with that High Priestess, that aha moment, that kind of epiphany, that flash. And that kind of opened up the dam for a lot of this spiritual energy coming in. Now, we're going to take a look on the path of the Serpent here to see how all of this spiritual energy might be shaping your life in the coming days and weeks. Okay. So again, I see that it really is rushing in. It's something that you've been prepared for. You have the integrity, the spiritual fortitude. You've been ready for this. Like you know that you're on this quest, right? And I think now it really is coming into play. It's really rushing in, and it's important for you to reevaluate the things in your life, right? How you spend your time, the things that you hold of any importance. You need to reevaluate those things and keep things in check, keep things well disciplined, stay in control. And again, in some way, it's going to involve this younger feminine energy, water sign person, or someone who is immature with their emotional expression, right? That's the feeling I'm getting here with this Princess of Cups. So that person is still a factor, and I'm still not quite sure exactly where that is taking place. But I hope this resonates with you. If it does, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. All right, leave me some comments. Let me know how you're doing, how you feel about all of this. So like I said, moving over to the path of the serpent here. The first card that we come to is representing your general energy, your state of mind right now, your state of being. And this is a good one. Six of Cups, beauty, harmony, luxury. I think this is kind of what you're striving for. You're striving for this beauty and harmony in your emotional life, but also in terms of your love life, your affection, right? The expression of love and nurturing and care and beauty. I think that this is really maybe a focus on beauty. Maybe this is something that you have a really high aesthetic. You have a strong sense of what appeals to you in life, and what you're striving for in terms of your surroundings, in terms of your experiences and the nature of your relationships with people. So I feel like it's a very important aspect of your journey, is kind of like what you surround yourself with, or what the scenery of this journey is like, right? I think that's very important to you. And in a literal way, but also in a figurative or a subtle way, where, the things that the impressions that you receive, the things that you bring into yourself are very important, and you like them to kind of have a similar vibe, right? This vibe that you're very much in tune with, whatever it may be. But I think that's important to you. I think your aesthetic is very important to you in your internal world, as well as in your surroundings, right? But I think you're very much aware of that, and you're rather focused on that recently, is kind of what things look like, right? What does your relationship look like? What do your thoughts look like? What does the interaction between you and the outer world look like? Is that harmonious and beautiful and fulfilling? And is it kind of getting this like Baroque kind of feeling, especially looking at these cups here, where it's just kind of, it's just really grand, right? And it's just really beautiful, and it's just kind of exaggerated beauty. But I think that's kind of a focus for you. And I wonder if this ties into some of this Hanged Man energy about having to reevaluate what is important to us and seeing if we can change our perspective and if that will help us on our path at all. But the next step on that path is this Two of Wands, and this is in the relationships with other people. So it's this Two of Wands that's kind of coloring your relationships right now. And this might be a battle for control. It might be a kind of dominating fire energy. And we're talking about the fire energy here with the Eight of Wands and that Emperor, and how you have to have that kind of control and that discipline and that authority when it comes to this spiritual energy that's rushing in, right? But the flip side of that Emperor is kind of this tendency to want to control everything or to dominate other people in your life. And I think with this card being placed in the position of your relationships, and the nature of how you relate to other people, there might be a little bit of that taking place. It might be a lot of this fire energy, a lot of this spiritual force that we're talking about that's flowing in now, might be manifesting as you trying to dominate your relationships, trying to be the controlling one in your relationships with the external world, with the people around you. So it might be that kind of control. You might be exhibiting a little bit of that kind of dominance, that little bit of will to control people and things and circumstances, right? And this might be causing a little bit of friction. This might also be something that we need to take that hanged man energy about and reevaluate it. Try to look at it from a different point of view and see what else might be going on there. See if that is maybe becoming too much. If it is a result of this influx of spiritual energy that is manifesting as this controlling kind of fire, right? Kind of controlling things by force a little bit, right? It might be that will to really dominate and control and have the authority over everything in your life. So it might be a little too much of this emperor. Okay, this emperor can get out of hand, kind of, right? But the next card that we see on your path is the World or Universe card. This is in the position of your obstacle, your fear, your concern, kind of what's going to give you anxiety this week, what you need to get past in order to keep flowing with this energy. And this is stagnation, this is inertia, this is delay, this is like being stuck in one spot, right? And I think that, you know, this is maybe the energy that we've had in the last few days, few weeks, kind of before this flash of spiritual insight, before this really swift epiphany or light bulb, this high priestess energy came in. I think, and even now that that has come in and you feel that has started this energy flowing, I think there's still this concern that things are going to be stuck, that you're not going to be progressing. And moreover, I think this is kind of the leftovers from when you had that locked door, that kind of dark corner of your spiritual life that's just been there, and you almost kind of just gave up trying to solve that mystery. You know, you all but forgot about it, and you were just kind of existing. You had your life, you had your routine, things were just pretty maybe basic, kind of humdrum, right? Things were flowing, things were moving, the days were going by, but you were feeling a little stuck, and there wasn't that spiritual progress that you had been ready for, prepared for, fortified to take part in this spiritual quest, right? But you felt like you were just kind of stuck. And I think you still have a little bit of that feeling. Like even though you feel this spiritual energy rushing in, there's still, you're able to really just kind of flip that and see, well, I'm still stuck. Or what if I'm not really able to get this energy moving? What if, whatever, you know? So I think this is still the obstacle for you to get over, you know, more mentally and emotionally than practically, because I think this energy is flowing in, and the acceptance of it, the utilization of it, the embracing of it, the surrendering to it a little bit, but not completely, right? You still have to stay in relative control of things. But I think you need to embrace it just enough to get over this fear or this anxiety or this feeling of being stuck, this inertia, almost like the chariot is just kind of stuck in the mud. And it would take a little bit of effort to get it out of the mud, but just kind of given up a little bit. Just said, well, we're stuck in the mud, you know, might as well just enjoy the mud while I'm here. And maybe one day we'll get the chariot out. But that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting here, where it's just, you've been in the mud for a while, that you've just kind of gotten used to it, and you feel like this is reality, this is all there is. But with just a little push, the chariot will break free, and the journey will continue, right? You're still on the journey, but you've been, I think, stuck here for a little while. But once we utilize this energy, this influx of spiritual force, and we get this chariot moving again, there's really going to be some of this Hierophant energy. This is kind of the end of the path of the serpent. This is the culmination of all of this energy. And this is really like, you know, you're being initiated into your own mystery. This really is that spiritual force taking the form of a spiritual guide, a teacher, right? A divine spirit, a guardian angel, someone that is something, some force manifesting in, you know, a somewhat familiar guise, right? Something that you're going to, probably a human-ish form for you to relate to, right? But to give you instruction, to guide you along, to show you the way, to reveal those mysteries to yourself, about yourself, right? So that dark corner, that locked door, that mystery that we were talking about at the beginning, this is who is going to be bringing you along through that door, right? We've got this energy coming in, the spiritual energy coming in that's giving you the momentum, giving you the push to get your chariot unstuck and get the spiritual quest started again, or rolling again. And that's going to bring you to this very important Hierophant, initiator, this spiritual guide, this guardian angel, spirit guide, whatever you want to call it, higher self. And this is really going to be really the only thing that you will need to rely on, right? Like this energy, this entity, this force, this spiritual, whatever you want to call it, will give you, provide for you, or will be there to offer, but it's up to you to receive it. All of that guidance that you need on your spiritual quest, right? So this path really is leading to you uncovering, unlocking those mysteries of yourself, your myth, right? The nature of your quest, the nature of your spiritual journey, your initiation. And all of this energy is leading you to this force, this entity, this spirit, this, whatever you want to call it, this spiritual guide. And I think this is, you know, this is the path that we're on. And again, I don't mean to get too mystical or too hocus pocus or anything like that, too, you know, metaphysical or whatever, but I really think that this has been on your mind. This is something that you're aware of. So if this is resonating with you, which I hope it is, leave me some comments, right? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If this is not resonating with you, let me know that too. And I still hope you'll subscribe so you can watch the next weekly reading for Virgo and see if maybe that is something a little more in tune with your energy, right? But I'm really feeling this, and we had a lot of these major arcana cards, very strong energy today. And I'm still pulled back to this Princess of Cups. This person is very important to you. And it could be, you know, that your spirit guide, this guardian angel, this higher self energy can take the form of many different things or people, right? It's just, you can see a reflection of that in any of your interactions ultimately, right? There's everything out there, every interaction that you have, every experience that you have is an opportunity for you to hear the message of that Hierophant and get a little bit closer to your own mystery and your own myth. Okay. Now let's take a look at this confirmation card and see what this might reveal to us about this whole situation. I'm really curious what this could be. Is it another major arcana? Is it the Fool? Is it the Magus? Is this the Empress, perhaps? This could be maybe a Princess of Discs. 10 of Discs would be wonderful. Let's just get to it. Let's find out what this is. Yeah, it's the Fool. This is, I was expecting it to be the Fool for sure, because, you know, the Fool is kind of, in one sense, the driver of that chariot, right? The Fool is on this spiritual journey, whether they know it or not. The Fool is someone who, you know, may not appear to be a wise spiritual person, but it's through their carefree attitude and their innocence and their playfulness that they really reveal their wisdom, right? And it's, this could be someone who is completely unknown or completely unaware of their own spiritual journey. But I don't think that version of the Fool is you. I think that you're very much aware of your journey. But this is the wanderer. This is the jester a little bit, someone who can laugh at the circumstances of life because there's this awareness of your higher journey, your spiritual journey that you're on. In some ways, makes some of this humdrum, mundane routine seem kind of comical, right? Not that it's not important, not that it's not some serious stuff that you're going through in your life, but there's an awareness of something beyond, and that can keep you in a more cheerful or lighthearted kind of attitude, like this Fool. The Fool is also, that air energy, that expansiveness, that force, that consciousness that is always trying to increase and expand and experience as much as possible, right? You're trying to take in as much experience, as much knowledge, as much pain and suffering, but joy and pleasure too. You're trying to take in all of it. You want all of it. You want to experience everything that life has to offer. And so I think that is really the motivation to get your chariot moving again. Get out of the mud. Get back on the path. And whatever that path looks like, whichever path you choose is the right one, right? You can choose all of the paths. You can take them all at once. You can take them one at a time. It doesn't matter. The point is you have this expansive energy now that's moving. It's active. And it's having a good time doing it, right? And, this Fool really is that knight who's on that quest for that grail, right? But this Fool's never going to get to the grail, never going to find the grail castle. That doesn't matter. They're enjoying all of these little side quests because that's where the real experiences are. That's where the real meaning is, right? We have to have a goal. We have to have something to work toward. But in some sense, it doesn't matter if we get there or not. It's the effort, it's the journey, it's all of the varied experiences that we have on that journey, So I think the Fool is a really strong confirmation here. I think this is a really important confirmation that hopefully is tying this reading together for you. Hopefully it's giving you a little bit of a smile here at the end and a little more motivation to let this spiritual energy in. Get your chariot moving, get out of the mud, and keep rolling. Now, Virgo, we're going to look at this a little bit more in the extended version. If you want to become a member to this channel, you can hit the link down in the description box. I encourage you to do so. It really does help support this channel, and I appreciate it very much. This was your weekly tarot forecast on Dove and Serpent Tarot.